Lighting, have you heard?
How about new?
No. Wait, let me think about it. Nope.
The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck, 'cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel and the ones that run on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show, whoa, whoa.
It's the Truck Show with your hosts, Lightning and Holman.
This episode of the Truck Show podcast, Have You Heard? Is proudly presented by Nissan. With the Frontier, Titan, and Titan XD, Nissan has a truck for every need, along with the legendary Nissan durability. Test drive your next truck at a local Nissan dealer today, or point your browser to nissanusa.com, where you can use the build and price tool to configure a Nissan truck that fits your lifestyle.
And when you're thinking about adding power or improving fuel economy, Banks has over 65 years of experience. Whether it's cold air intakes or exhaust systems, tuning, throttle control, charge air cooling, lubrication components, and much more, no one offers smarter, safer, 50-state emissions-compliant performance parts than Gale Banks. You'll find the best engineered parts for your truck at bankspower.com.
And when you're looking for quality, full synthetic lubrication for your truck, AMSOIL has you covered with motor oil, lubricants and protectants, grease, additives, and more. AMSOIL synthetic lubricants deliver wear protection, engine cleanliness, and fuel efficiency that conventional oils simply can't match. Find out how AMSOIL synthetic lubricants can save you money and time by helping your vehicles run better and last longer than with conventional oils at AMSOIL.com. When it comes to lubrication, AMSOIL is the leader in synthetics. Hey, Lighting, have you heard?
No, I haven't.
Well, I think we need to call our friend Matt Feldermann over at AEV, who's the brand manager over there. He is the brand marketing director of Overland Expo Foundation. So basically wears a different hat. So we're going to talk to him about the 2024 Ultimate Vehicle Build Project, which is a 2023 GMC Canyon, all decked out. I had a chance to drive the truck today, but let's give him a call and find out what this is all about.
All right, let's ring up our boy.
I mean, ring and sing?
No.
Okay.
Hello.
Yo, Matt, Lightning and Holman, Truck Show Podcast. How you do?
Yo, what's going on, brother?
Did you guys just do some weird, like, bro thing?
Yeah,
that
we're
was
broing out.
very
Yeah.
odd.
We're tight, you know. We hung out at SEMA that time and the time before that, wherever it was.
I've gone camping with him. I'm definitely tired.
I have I've not camped with him.
No,
Although,
you haven't.
well, maybe I should say that I was drinking whiskey and smoking cigars with Matt.
Yeah, you can say that.
I can say
it doesn't make it true.
No, it doesn't make it happen. It's not real. Matt, before we talk to you, hold on, Holman. We got an intro.
Well, I was just going to say, normally you know Matt from AV, and he's been on a bunch of times, but he's got a new hat on tonight, and this one's going to be pretty cool. I think you guys want to hear about this.
Is it a locomotive hat? One of those, the little
Just play the
choo-choo
jingle.
train hat, the kids get?
No, he's not saying choo-choo. Just play the jingle.
Pull up a stool and share. Pull up a stool and share a story. Pull up a stool and share. How about you pull up a stool and share with us?
The Overland Expo Foundation, which is a nonprofit tied to Overland Expo, and each year they do a vehicle build, and then the proceeds of that build go to charity. So I'll let Matt walk you through it, but I had a chance to drive it today.
Am I that charity?
No.
Oh.
You're somebody's charity, but I believe she's wearing a wedding ring.
I feel like I'm your charity.
Well, some days. And so I had a chance to go out and drive it today. Our friend Nick Psomas over at Peak oversaw and did the build, and so we got a little walk around with him. But Matt, talk to us about the foundation and about this truck that our listeners could potentially go home with.
Yeah, so I'll start off with the foundation. That's probably the shorter of those two things. For about 2 years now, I've been the brand marketing manager for the Overland Expo Foundation, and small organization. It's just myself and Rachel Elsman, who is the executive director. As you know, I've been in this industry a long time, and this isn't just a hobby to me. It's, what I do for a career. And I know a lot of friends who also depend on it. And, I wanted to be a little more active in advocating to keep trails open and, different restoration projects and, whatnot. And the Overland Expo Foundation just seemed like a great fit. So Rachel and I have been hustling, trying to grow it. We are a nonprofit, so, all of the funds that we raise throughout the year, a lot of them are tied to Overland Expo. So the ticket sales for the Saturday night raffle event, all those donations, the vendors that support our raffle, all these little fundraising activities.
And this is for
throughout the year.
All the shows. So there's Overland Expo West, which is the big daddy. There's
all four, yes.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest, Mountain, which is in Oregon, Mountain, which is in Colorado, in Loveland, and then you've got the East as well, and
in Virginia.
And now the thing that is cool about the foundation is you guys put grants together as one of your activities.
Yes.
So these donations go to support other nonprofits or other projects to help keep trails open, or to help with a project that can fund a need, or something special that goes back into the overlanding community. And Overland Expo Foundation is basically trying to be, I guess, the charitable arm, obviously, of Overland Expo, but trying to spread the love of overlanding nationwide to deserving parties.
Yeah, but hold on a second, Matt. Why not just line your own pockets?
Because it's about lightning.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we take that money that we raise, and like last year, for example, we paid out 4 grants. And we typically diversify it a bit. We'll do something that supports like veterans, and then we'll do something that's like a project, all sorts of things. But last year we were able to pay out 4 grants. And then because of how successful last year was in fundraising, this year we were able to pay out 6 grants. So we hope to keep the momentum going and, over time build up more money and be able to pay out more and do more good for the community.
Do you have an example of some of the grants, maybe 1 or 2 that you paid out?
Yeah. So, we can keep it topical to this year. So one of the grants that we paid out this year is a partnership with Tread Lightly, where we are doing a cleanup project focused around each location of Overland Expo. There's a lot of people that come in for these shows, and the locals may love it or they may hate it. So, we're trying to leave a good impression on the locals and show that the Overland community cares. Another great organization that we worked with last year, in fact, Two Wolf Foundation, they're completely dedicated to veterans who are, adjusting to life back home, maybe going through some stuff. They take them out, great weekend camping with, other vets, and they can bring their family, all expenses paid, stuff like that. Most of the people who are behind these organizations, they'll be out at these Overland Expos. They're in the community. So yeah, it's really cool. It's rewarding. But yeah, our biggest fundraiser of the year is the sale of the ultimate vehicle build. And there's also a motorcycle as well. Those 2 vehicles get auctioned off in the fall, and then the foundation gets the proceeds. And then that really kicks off our next year of funding.
Do you have a goal, what you want to raise for the sale of this truck?
We don't really have it's hard. These things are hard because they're, we build them out and they're really cool, but it's also kind of a niche market for these vehicles. So, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it, what would be a good number for this year, but I'm sure it'll go over well. Both the truck and the bike are awesome.
I mean, it's a brand new truck, right? GMC Canyon, and it's fully loaded. We'll talk about it in a second, but just kind of a cursory review of the truck. I'm looking at least a value of $100,000 just with the truck and parts. And I'm sure I'm low there because it's got all the best parts you can possibly put on it. I would imagine that at least going to go for market value, I would think, right? And that's some decent money in grants that you can donate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Last year, we were really fortunate with the Lexus. We did a Lexus LX 600, and we did a Triumph Rally Tiger 1200 or something like that. It was a really cool Triumph. Yeah, those sold for really good money. So we're hoping this year with the GMC Canyon AT4X and the Ural, we should hopefully do pretty well.
Now, looking at the list of mods, and so obviously Lightning alluded to it a little bit, and we can talk about it more in a minute, but just kind of some of the people, Peak Suspension, Alucab, AV, Torque Wheels, BF Goodrich, Decked, Project
nice.
X, Switch Pros, Red Arc, Midland, Weeboost, Battleborn, Rigged, Come Up Winches, Max Track, Magnaflow, Aeronaut, Lightner,
Look at
Vision
that.
X. I mean, how do you guys decide and choose which products go on the vehicle? Because there's a lot of great stuff to choose from, and obviously Overland Expo is one of those places where all of these companies come together to show off their goods.
Yeah, and that right there was kind of the challenge for me, because I'm kind of a silent party in all this. I'm the one, trying to map out the path to have a cool build. We want to obviously get as many Overland Expo, supporters, people who are at the shows. We want to get as many people involved as possible. But on the other hand, not everyone makes parts for a Canyon, or not everyone has the budget to participate. So, the plans for this truck, it was kind of a little bit of a strategy game, because, company A they may want to be involved with the build. Company B may be cutting back on their budgets this year and can't. So I have to still make sure it all works together. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, that was a challenge for me, but long story short, obviously, with my time at AEV and our ongoing relationship with GMC, I'm very close to the team over there. I have a huge amount of respect for what they've done with the AT4X platform. So I really had to make sure that I represented their truck in the best light possible. So my whole theme with this thing was really just taking what they did and enhancing it. Whether it was to handle the weight that we added or to get us a little more tire clearance, everything was meant to serve a purpose, keep the truck simple, and not detract from everything that makes, the GMC Canyon so good.
Now, why did you not just go and build a full-on Bison or something like that? You could have just tapped into the AEV warehouse. But you chose to reach out to all the partners. And I guess it does make sense, because now they're going to also give you the publicity, right? All these partners have social media accounts that are fairly large, so now you're going to get
and it's not an AEV build, it's an Overland Expo build.
No, I get that, but like he works for AEV.
There's AEV parts on here.
No, I see them. There are, and those are some of the nicest parts on the truck. I'm just curious,
why not more?
Share the wealth. Yeah, I guess.
It's really to share the love and to get as many people involved as possible. Trust me, as much as I want, believe me, both of you guys know, as much as I wanted to turn this thing into, an AEV edition clone, we wanted to make sure that we got more companies involved. The front bumper, for example, the 589 Fabrications front bumper, it's obviously completely different than ours, but we wanted something unique on the front end where we were able to keep a little bit of that factory front bumper, but then also give us, a solid steel bumper to mount a winch to, and also add some lights. I'm not a big fan of roof lights, so I wanted a bumper that could, have some lights on it. Ours isn't, it's not really made for that. So,
did you feel, Matt, did you feel dirty a little bit working with another bumper manufacturer?
I did. Believe me.
Well,
I struggled with this.
I will say
at
this.
the end of the day,
it ain't. It's not an EV.
It's okay, Matt.
It's not an AV, but it is nice.
Oh, hold on. It'll be okay, Matt, because we've got Cobb Tuning coming in a few episodes, and Lightning's going to feel dirty talking to them. So it's all good. We share the love.
It's funny because off air, Holman are like, do we have Cobb Tuning? Because it's a conflict with Banks, who's a sponsor of the podcast. But, secretly, I'm a fan of Cobb Tuning. Yeah, I love what they do.
They're coming up.
So I don't know. I mean, Gail might feel differently about it, but I'm like, hopefully he won't.
All right. Well, I've got the picture of the build on the screen here in the pod shed. And so, Lightning, I want you to take a look at this. And I know we're kind of teasing Matt a little bit about how it doesn't have, it's not an AV build. This is a front 3/4 shot. I can see right now 1, 2, Let's see.
I don't-
Three
I don't know.
AEV products.
Okay. I don't.
Can you tell which AEV products are in? There's three that are obvious in this
Okay,
photo.
so I see the snorkel.
All right.
All right.
That's an industry exclusive. I don't think anybody else has a snorkel
All
for
right.
Colorado Canyon.
I
Huge.
think this is a tough one.
Okay.
I think that the fender flares.
Oh, that was the one I didn't think you were going to get.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah.
Those
okay.
are the AEV big fender flare kit to
Okay.
fit 35s.
And got it.
I'm
And the only
wondering what
reason
the third one is.
So the third one, bear with me. It's not the bumper. It's not the skid plate. I don't think it's. I can't
you
tell.
can
I don't
see
even
it in
know.
this photo.
I can see it in the photo.
You can see it in the
Well,
photo.
it's not the rock rails. Those they wouldn't do that. They're not the wheels. What
The
kind of
front
wheels are
skid
those?
is not mine.
They're
That's
torque wheels.
Torque wheels. Okay.
Torque
The
wheels.
rear bumper could be okay. Got it.
There you go.
The rear bumper is a little different than the front bumper.
Yeah.
So and it's rounded. So the front bumper is more plate steel.
Well,
and
no. Oh, but back your roll up is the front bumper is just an insert for where the skid plate goes, so it meshes with. I want people who are visualizing this to see the urethane bumper cover is intact. Basically, the one they have on this is not a full bumper. It's the center section to house the winch and the lights.
I gotta say, it looks really good.
It looks good, yeah.
A Prinsu rack on the top. Is that what that was?
Yeah, Prinsu rack,
And then you get
Lightner.
Yep, rack over the bed. And are those
Alucab.
Lightner boxes as well?
Yeah, and so we did a walk around with Nick. So after we talked to Matt, we'll play a quick 5-6 minute video or audio of us walking around, and Nick, who built it, will walk us through each
Got
of
it.
the
So
products.
you guys are listening to us going, what the hell are they talking about? Go to overlandexpofoundation.org. overlandexpofoundation.org, and you'll see the truck we're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's under the Ultimate Overland Vehicle Build. And
there's also, I saw there's a donate button on this. And that's what I wanted to get to
there's
next.
a couple of things. So there's donate, and then Matt, talk about the donate, but then talk about how somebody can take this truck home.
Oh, so the donate is different than this auction.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes. So the donate is if you're just feeling generous and you want to donate $10-20 to the foundation, cool. But as far as owning this truck, so in the fall, forgive me, there's no set date yet. I believe it was in November last year, but we will be putting this truck up on Cars and Bids, and they waive any commissions and all.
Tell
for us.
me that you're going to get the video. This is a 2024
Stop.
GMC Canyon
Stop that.
AT4X.
It's actually 2023, but stop that voice.
He reviewed it.
Yes!
He did the Lexus last year.
Love it. This, I love it.
Yeah.
Every video he starts.
Jay just
What's,
he
I'm
just loves it.
spacing on his name again. What's his? what's-
Doug DeMiro?
Doug DeMiro, yes. This,
Yep.
Okay.
It's
You're
a
not Doug.
1912
Stop doing that.
Bugatti.
It hurts my ears.
and it's got
It hurts
a lot
my
of
ears.
eccentricities. I'm going to take you through one by one.
Okay.
Doug DeMiro's
So
awesome.
back to the truck for a second. One of the big challenges with this that I guess I kind of anticipated it, but the truck got really small quick. Like when we started bolting stuff onto it, that was like the biggest thing that I started getting worried about. Like, oh man, is this all going to go together the way I thought? Because I don't really know about any of these parts.
So
I'm
funny you should say that.
I'm in an AEB bubble. Like
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about anyone else's parts.
So Nick and I
But-
talked about this very thing today because what I was blown away with is how much stuff you put in a 5-gallon bucket. And we're talking about the modularity of the Lightner rack, and I have it on the screen here. Even on the back side of his gear pods, there are MaxTrax mounts that mount behind the boxes. There's a deck system in there. Having the flexibility to put all this stuff and everything has a home. So I drove it today, and I'll say a couple things. Was blown away with how complete the vehicle feels, how well it drives. I did about a 100-mile loop. It's super comfortable. The suspension works incredibly well. I took it off-road over whoops and things like that, and I was still able to go about 20,
You're
25
not
miles
supposed
an hour.
to beat it up, and then they got to
didn't beat it
auction the
up.
damn thing
No,
off.
I was right. I was within. I was not off the bump stops at all. It was really good.
Okay.
No squeaks and rattles. Everything had a home, and even on the highway with all this stuff bolted to it, the only wind noise I had was a little tiny whistle every once in a while above 75 when the wind would blow sideways. Other than that, totally quiet. I would drive this truck across country tomorrow.
Even with a tent on top.
A tent, the Prinsu rack, all the boxes and stuff behind it, the thing, it just handled. It was comfortable. It feels complete. It does not feel like a Franken truck with all these different products. It's really, really well done, and I was blown away by that.
It's insane how much you got in the bed, for example. What's that bed, like 3 feet deep? I mean, like it's just the tiniest.
3 feet. Yeah, 3 feet.
But you can.
No, I'm
you
kidding.
can
It's
still
like
see out the rear window.
It's a tiny little bed, like the Canyon bed, the Colorado bed.
I couldn't see out the window
so tiny
because there's a box of Husky floor liners in the back seat that were blocking my outward view.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it all worked out really well. The deck system's awesome. You know, the Leitner. Really, that Leitner rack's really that's kind of the backbone of all this, right? You know, it let us put that big old alu cab tent with the awning and the shower cube, and Nick's power system that he built.
We talk about it.
Is amazing.
It's awesome. We talk about it in the next
two Battleborn heated batteries. You know, I mean, it's a removable twin battery system that's where they're powered by the solar panel when the truck's off. The truck powers them back up to charge when it's running. It's awesome.
Similar to the setup on my 392, where I've got the house batteries that are totally separate from the vehicle, except for one wire that allows the vehicle to charge it when I'm driving, and then the solar panel that can allow me to be off grid. And in SoCal summer, desert, where you have high sun, no clouds, I could be down at 25% battery, and I'm 100% by 11 o'clock. It's crazy how good some of these portable solar systems are these days.
Yeah, I really lucked out. You know, I never used a rigged Ultra Swing before. Thing's awesome. I mean, it was perfect for what we needed. For that 35, it is awesome. And it has a little flip down table. You know, even torque. This is a pretty new truck, you know, obviously me here, I'm up on my high horse. I'm well, I need to make sure these wheels are going to fit correctly, you know, and they nailed it spot on. So everything was awesome. You know, I can't say enough good things about Nick, you know, Nick, Kyle over there, Andy with the photos. I mean, I would have had a really hard time without his help. So big kudos to him.
So shout out to the boys over at Peak. And I'm serious when I say this to the listeners and you, Matt. The vehicle as a whole, I was blown away. And you know how critical I am, especially of builds that have lots of different things on it that don't match.
Oh, I know.
Everything works on this thing, and
he does not like when people just bolt on Farkles.
No,
he's Farkle truck.
Yeah,
and it's the Widow Wadder and the Widow Max tracks.
Yeah, and this thing, everything has a home.
Have you seen the new one, the Widow ball hitch?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
That is the coolest one of all of them. It is the receiver.
Yep.
And it is a block of 3D printed plastic that slides into the receiver.
And it has a little tiny ball.
And it poking out has a 3/4 inch long hitch coming off it, and the actual ball is probably about the size of a BB. It's so tiny. It's the craziest thing. It's a Widow tiny.
Tow my Legos around.
You mentioned how quiet it is.
Yeah.
After I drove that thing, I picked it up in Riverside at Nick's, and I drove it to Flagstaff. I was so disgusted with my Jeep after that experience.
I know, they're a little noisy.
All I have is I have a rooftop tent and a snorkel.
Yeah.
And
you hear all of it.
I look at this truck. Yeah.
That's why I drive mine out with a
V8. But yeah, kudos to GMC and their acoustic glass.
Well, and I'm going to say
the
Canyon Colorado platform, the new truck, is really well done. It's really solid, especially on the AT4X and ZR2. And then, of course, the AEV overlays are available on each of those. But what they did to the platform and how good that truck is out of the box is definitely a testament to them wanting to play hardcore in that midsize segment.
Speaking of the midsize segment, it's, you talked about the fact that it's not the most, well, maybe you didn't say this, but it's not really the most popular truck yet. It's that the Colorado, the Canyons, they just haven't, they're not going to take over Tacomas, right?
Well, I mean,
they're not,
nobody's going to take over Tacoma.
But I mean,
they're
just,
right in there.
Are they?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about the sales numbers on this show. Do you listen to
I
do,
show? I do, but I just don't feel it. I feel like that's a bitchin' truck without any question. That is not up for grabs. Like, that is an amazing truck. But you're going to pull up the numbers. Do it.
I'm not going to, because our listeners already know. But
they don't know. Like, I just feel like that truck is kind of I feel like it can get lost in the noise of the midsize.
Just because you don't see them and aren't looking for them doesn't mean they don't exist.
I do look
Lightning
for them.
has this thing where he makes up a truth in his mind that works in his little bubble, and then he applies it across everything we talk about.
What I like is I spout it out, and then you have to come back and prove me wrong. And when you do that, I enjoy it.
Do you now?
Yes, I actually do.
So here's what I like, and I was thinking about this on the way home. One reason I should say that I think I vibe so well with the team over at Chevy and GMC is they aren't out there making a ton of noise. They're really focused on like delivering the product. And it's almost like, you watch those videos where it's like you have an ultra cocky boxer gets in the ring, and then there's the quiet dude that walks quietly to the ring but knocks him out in a few seconds. That's kind of how I view the GMC stuff right now. Everything midsize, light duty, heavy duty, it's all so solid. I gotta
jump in here, Matt. I gotta prove Lightning wrong once again.
All right, do it again.
This is the quickest number I could come up with. That was the Q1 sales for midsize 2024. What do you think first place was?
First place is the Tacoma.
Wrong.
It's not?
Nissan Frontier, 19,744 sold.
No kidding.
What do you think number 2 is?
It's still not Tacoma?
Chevy Colorado, 14,922. What do you think number 3 is?
Is that because people knew the 24 was coming in on it?
Of course.
And
there's always a drop in sales when they swap over.
Oh, well, then this is unfair.
Well, because you're wrong?
Well, no, but I'm saying it's different because all the Toyota fanboys were waiting for the truck.
Okay, so take the Toyota out.
They didn't make the Colorado for 3 months when the plant was shut down.
So boom, shakalaka.
All right, fine.
Number 3, Jeep Gladiator, 12,989. Tacoma, 8,310. 5th place, GMC Canyon, 5,484. Followed by the Honda Ridgeline at 3,967, and 7th was the Ford Ranger at 1,918 as people were waiting for it to come out. So,
Gotcha.
And also you got to remember that's coming out of the UAW strike as well. So if I can find, while Matt's on the phone, if I can find the full year up to Q2, because I think we just came out of Q2, I'll let you know. But
so Matt, of all the trucks, I mean, obviously you're partial now to this, but of all the midsize trucks, is this the one you're choosing? Like literally, regardless of price. Someone says, Matt, here's $110,000. You can pocket whatever you want, even if you buy like a lower trim level. What are you buying?
Definitely one of these. If things go as planned, I'll be showing up to Expo Pacific Northwest with the Colorado Bison. So there's your answer.
Okay.
Well, Matt, thanks for coming on and talking to us about the Overland Expo Foundation. And as soon as we hear from you when this truck is available for auction, we'll definitely put it out on our socials and share it and put it on the podcast. So if anybody's interested.
Appreciate that.
Matt, can you help us line up an interview with Doug DeMuro?
Oh, I quite possibly can.
I mean, seriously,
possibly.
like I would love
seriously,
it.
Lightning's a fanboy, but can we just make some sort of rule right now? You cannot do Doug's voice.
I won't do it.
For the rest of the year. I'm not even talking about that show. You have to stop doing that totally.
I think I've done it twice.
And it's bad every time.
It's awful. I realize that.
Yeah, please stop doing that.
It cracks me up.
Right, it cracks you up.
It cracks me up. That's all I care
If we get
about.
Doug, we're not going to do it when Doug comes on.
Oh, if Doug comes on, I'm no way am I doing it.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
There's nothing more embarrassing when someone does a bad impression of someone standing with them or
don't do
talking
that.
to. No, I'm not that guy. Trust me. And I got to do it.
Trust me, I'm Lightning. Oh, wait, I just did.
Oh, Matt. All right. Well, congratulations on the build. It's overlandexpofoundation.org. That's where you can donate, or I'm sure you'll be placing the date and the location of the auction when it's live.
And you can also follow him on social as well.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. You're doing good work as always.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure as always, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Sounds good. See ya.
Talk soon. Be well. Bye.
All right, so as I kind of teased with the interview with Matt, I was there to drive the truck today and had a nice little walk-around interview with Nick Psomas from Peak Suspension, who built it. So here's that audio right here. Out here in Riverside, California, at the headquarters for Peak Suspension, and with my friend Nick Psomas, who's been on the show before. We were talking to Matt about the build for the Overland Expo Foundation, and this was basically Nick's baby. So I figured while I was here, had a chance to drive the truck, we'd walk around with Nick, and he could tell us all about what's done to it and why he made those choices and what he thinks of the truck now that it's the finished product.
Welcome to Riverside. It's a little warm out today. This is our AT4X we built for the Overland Expo Foundation. So we could start at the front, kind of go over what all the components were. As far as choices are concerned, I'm sure you're familiar with the build program and how it works. So they're all bids for positioning on the vehicle. So in this case, we can go over each company as they're alluded to on the vehicle. First and foremost, obviously the bumper. This is kind of the standout piece that is a first of its kind. This is the 589 fabrication Stealth Fighter bumper, or Mini Fighter, I think they call it. So it's a steel bumper, replaces the center section of the factory bumper. It has a winch provision lighting. In this case, they use the Vision X, the round lights, but they are making different options for different types of lights, so you can kind of pick and choose the way you want to do it. They have an option for a bull bar. They also include the lower skid plate and also the wings on the outside, so it keeps the bumper together as you take away some of that crash bar material. So it's a pretty well thought out piece, integrated D-rings. Inside that houses the come-up solo winch, so we have that set up with their new hook. So it's pretty cool setup. It's not too invasive, so to speak, but it kind of just looks and follows the profile of the vehicle, but also gets you the extra stuff that you want on the vehicle.
It's nice because this is one of those center mount winch replacements, so the factory urethane part of the bumper that's body colored that wraps around, that stays and is existing, so it still looks factory for those people who kind of like the factory look and don't want to hang a bunch of metal off the front of their truck.
Yep, and it's easy to install as well, so you kind of just replace that whole center section, take the crash bar out, put it in, and it's good to go.
Awesome. Oh, we got a Harley. Did you build that over there also?
We try not to. So moving around the truck, obviously you notice the flares are a little more exaggerated. So this is the AEV conversion's new flare. This comes factory on the AT4X AEV edition, but they also allow them to be aftermarket on the Canyons as well as the Colorados. We had to fit the 35, so that obviously we come to play with our 2-inch lift kit.
And this truck comes from the factory with 33s on it, right?
Correct. So 33s from the factory, 35s on the AEV trucks, but because we're doing a build and we want to have the best of everything, we're going to do 35. So 35-inch BFG KO2s wrapped around some torque wheels. Our peak 2-inch kit, so this combines an Eibach Pro Lift spring as well as our top spacer to get us the height we want, but also allows for better damping with the spring, better spring rates, weight capacity for the bumper as well. We also added our own suspension gamuts like the diff drops, the tire rod sleeves, everything to basically make this thing ride like factory, but also protect you on the trails.
So I know that sounds like a bunch of marketing hubba bubba, and everybody says that, it's like factory ride. This has the Multimatics. You've got your spacers from Peak and your Eibach springs that have been developed with the weight of this vehicle in mind. And I just did about a 100-mile loop, including some off-roading, and I couldn't believe at the weight this thing is at with all the accessories on it, how well it rode on the highway. And even off-road, I'm thinking, okay, well, they tuned it for the highway. I bet it's going to crash through off-road. No, the Multimatics, even in this configuration, had plenty of wheel travel, and I was really amazed at how well the damping is. You're not giving anything up to be able to have the capability of 35s and more ground clearance, which I thought was really cool because I wasn't expecting that. I thought, okay, it's a spacer kit. Well, there's a right way to do a spacer kit. There's a wrong way to do a spacer kit, and you guys have done it the right way with the right spring rate, and that makes all the difference.
One you probably noticed too, since you've driven a lot of these in your career field, the second gen versus third gen is significantly different. The shocks are way more improved, better dampening at larger reservoirs. In fact, it's 2-chamber now versus the single before.
More travel.
Way more travel. So it's a lot more robust in a lot of ways, which makes for a good platform for an overland vehicle due to the added weight that we're adding, because they call us overloaders for a reason. So as you can see, we've pretty much loaded this thing up as much as you can, but that doesn't take away from your everyday driving, which is nice. But I guess moving down the line of the truck, the next thing we have the AEV conversion snorkel. So this thing is new for the third gens. They have them both for Canyon and Colorado. We have the Leitner Designs bed rack with all the gear pods.
So this is the ACS rack that we've had on the show before. So this has the forged uprights, super modular, has their boxes as well as their shower pod, and then it has the ability to mount things on top, in this case, a Lumicab tent as well as awnings.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that I love about this thing is, admittedly, this is the first one we've installed on a vehicle, so getting to play with this and see how well they are designed and built. Modularity is a big thing that I enjoy, so seeing how many things you can do in configurations for this thing is pretty cool. And it's really, really well built and pretty robust. Furthermore, we also have the AEV rear bumper. This is new for third gens as well. This also includes some skid plate provisions underneath the front bumper, or the rear bumper, excuse me. And attached to that's our rig tire carrier with the fold down table. So it's cool for being on the campsite when you're back here cooking, which we have all the Blackstone and Jetboil stuff on board as well, so that way you can have all your fun items. The deck system inside also provides a great load of space. This is new for this year. They have the new single drawer system for the mid-sized trucks.
Way more volume, way more weatherproofing, and they give you some storage back in the corners.
Yeah, they listened to everything that people were saying that they want to see changed and made all those changes, which is great. They made a good product before and even better product now. So we're pretty cool to see that on this truck as well.
Really quick, going back to the AV rear bumper. So this is the same bumper that would be available on the AEV Edition Canyon that you installed aftermarket on the AT4X.
Yep.
But this also includes those really heavy duty and robust cast iron tow hooks.
Yep.
It was designed with this truck styling in mind, so it's not going to look weird when you bump. Jeep, for example, you could do a different front and rear bumper or keep a stock front and get a rear, and sometimes the styling doesn't look cohesive. Mm-hmm. This looks fine, and it's in fact what they offer from the factory.
Yep, and the cool thing too is it bolts right up. It comes with all the sensors pre-wired. Everything's good to go. You literally just put the bumper on and plug it in. So that part's nice as far as the install is concerned. So for us, we weren't having to take all the sensors and move everything, so that was fantastic. On top of the bed rack, we have the Alucab awning, the shower room, and the rooftop tent. And I can say this is my first time also with an Alucab product, and this thing is massive.
Yeah, they're nice. Big, but they're definitely one of the highest quality tent providers that you can get. I mean, just they're big, they're a little bit bulky, but the quality is almost unbeatable. They're really good.
I was pretty impressed with it. So it's a pretty cool system. One of the cool things that we did on this truck that I'm happy with was the power system we developed. So in the gear pod, we have an entire onboard power storage system. Oh, it's locked. And basically it transitions from, it's a red arc manager with battle-borne batteries. And so as you're driving, it charges the batteries. As you key off, it automatically switches to the solar. And the solar will power it obviously wherever you are at a campsite. So it's nice to have those kind of things. We also ran some extra power to plug in, so you can use USB and 120 volt AC stuff.
And it's nice that it's in the gear pod that's mounted to the rack. So rather than being buried in the bed like a lot of people do it, where you have to crawl in and do it to plug in or utilize it, it's in the gear pod that's at eye level, that's between the uprights of the Lightner rack floating above the bedside. You open it up and you have everything that you need is right there staring you in the face. And it's because the Lightner stuff comes lockable, everything's still fully secured. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. This is the first time I think I've seen somebody do a full battery system inside a box. And it just works. It's a great idea.
Yeah, Bernard did the same thing. We weren't sure when we thought of it as well, but we vented the box to make sure that it's still enough airflow going through there. It's all sealed and waterproof, so it's should be a pretty cool system. We've been through quite a bit of weather at this point now between expos and we built this thing. So time to be, test of time we'll see, but so far so good. And we're thrilled with the location as well.
And I also noticed that you guys have the Prinsu cab rack that's over the cab, and the Alucab tent actually floats above it. Yeah. But it gives you some additional storage. Still allows full use of the moonroof, but you also have a cell phone extender mounted to it, and you have some other options if you need to temporarily throw some soft bags up there, no problem, and it just adds more flexibility.
Yep.
Also, I noticed when driving, you guys have the MagnaFlow exhaust on it as well, so definitely is a lot more lively than the muted stock exhaust.
I mean, it's hard to make a 4-cylinder turbo sound good, but they managed to do it. And inside the cab also, we got the Midland radio system. We've got a Zoleo GPS unit. We have a bunch of quad lock mounting systems for your phone and tablets. So you're pretty much, this thing is a turnkey, ready to go, out of the box, go anywhere in the world type of vehicle.
So it's going to be pretty fun to see who wins it, I guess, at the end of the year, which Matt explained. So thanks for walking us around, and people can go to peaksuspension.com.
Yep, and Peak Suspension on Instagram and Facebook.
Cool. Thanks, Nick.
Yep, no problem.
Sounds like a cool truck. I wish that I had enough money to bid on it.
Well, when you sell the TRX because you can't handle the stress of owning it, or it's stolen out of your driveway before the bollards come in.
Why do you got to say that?
Then you get the insurance money, and
don't
you
do me
will
dirty
be
like
able
that.
to afford this truck.
Well, maybe I will.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis with production elements by DJ Omar Khan. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and give us a 5-star rating. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to show your support than by patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.